Now we're going to go through metallic colors. Now there's only 3 that we're going to go through. There's probably maybe like 1 or 2 others, but I most of them pretty much go back to these colors. So the first metallic color that we have is gold. And gold represents judgment, purification, and royalty. The first verse that we find is in 1 Corinthians 3:11 through 14, and it says, "For no other foundation can anyone lay than that which is laid, which is Jesus Christ. Now if anyone builds on this foundation with gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, straw, each one's work will become clear, for the day will declare it, because it will be revealed by fire, and the fire will test each one's work for what sort it is. If anyone's work which he has built on it endures, he will receive a reward." This is a really, really cool Bible verse. And it kind of goes back to looking like you're fruitful and not being fruitful. The foundation, first of all, it says is Jesus Christ. So if you don't even have that foundation, like forget it. What gold does when it's melted or overheated, it melts and it starts to purify it. So the gold starts to separate and kind of clean itself out of everything that's not gold. So everything that's not good, I guess you could use sin. So anything sinful starts to just kind of burn up because the gold is purifying. And there's so many people who like to pat their spiritual resume. Like, I have done this and I've done that and I've done this other thing. It's like, but have you been called to do any of that? Did you change anyone's life while doing it? Did you make a difference? And did you grow the kingdom? Did you do anything with it? Or is it just something nice for you to brag about? Do you know what I mean? That stuff is wood, it's hay, it's straw. Yeah, you built it on top of Jesus. You built it on top of the foundation. You built a reputation in your church, but is it really going to withstand the fire? Did it really bring God glory, or is it just bringing you glory? The next metallic color is similar, obviously not as precious as gold. And you have silver, which means purified and cleansed. Because so many of the Bible verses share both gold and silver, I'm not going to go too deep into silver because it's more or less similar to gold. In Malachi 3:3 says, "He will sit as a refiner and a purifier of silver. He will purify the sons of Levi and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer to the Lord an offering in righteousness." Here's the thing about silver. What happens with silver when it heats is that the silver, they have to blow bubbles into the silver, and the silvers turn into these little like balls, and they rise up to the surface. And then everything else, like the iron or the steel that they mixed it with, sinks to the bottom. God has to blow that spirit into your life so that the good and the purified silver that's in you rises to the top, and that everything that's not good, that sin, that destruction that's pulling you down, gets taken out, is weighed down, and is easier to take out. You know how an axe, when the Holy Spirit first came down, it says it came in like a rushing wind. That air has to be blown into you so that that silver can be raised up to the top for you to be purified. The third metallic color that I want to get into is bronze. Is also interchangeable with brass and copper because they're similar colors. They're similar metals. Numbers 21:9, and it says, "So Moses made a bronze serpent and put it on a pole. And so it was, if a serpent had bitten anyone, when he looked at the bronze serpent, he lived." And what had happened here is that the people were traveling and they were going around Edom, and then they became discouraged. And what did they start to do? I mean, the same thing they did the other 40 years that they were in the desert. They complained. Like God hasn't done anything for them, right? You brought us out here to die, and God doesn't, this, and God that, and you this, and you that, and blah, blah, blah. Always complaining. So God got annoyed, like he did a lot with the people of Israel, and he sent a plague of snakes, and they bit a bunch of people, and a bunch of people died. So there was a few people that said, "Look, Moses, we don't want to die anymore. We obviously angered God, and we need help." And that's really interesting because people had to die for them to realize, hey, we can't do this without God. Like how often do bad things have to happen to you for you to like turn to God? So God instructed Moses to put a bronze serpent on a pole, and anyone who looked at it would be healed. You find the judgment, but then find that there was some way of forgiveness. through obedience. Obedience is like its own, it is its own separate topic